And I noted down a couple of ahadith to you all, one of them which states that the one who writes one line of poetry in honor of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reserves for him or her a house in paradise. And the one who allows for one person to grieve, one person to cry, in the recitation of their poetry in honor of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give the entire gathering paradise. So I thought that I wanted to share in terms of being from those individuals and those people who have that status in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I wrote a small poem in honor of Imam al-Hussein, salamullah alayh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I tossed and I turned and I anticipated your day. From the day of my birth as creation came to be, what is time, where is time, everything was with the divine. Not a second, not a clock, not an hour, nothing was mine. But from the moment I was alive, I wept using the skies. From the moment I was alive, I ordered the raindrops to fly. Yes, I am time, and I apologize it had to come. I had no choice but to follow the instruction of He who is one. By the time my Creator states, man is in despair, but the only one losing is time itself, for it is void of its air. The king which lay lonely, the king which lay thirsty, the king which was alone, as time did not stop. I apologize, I had no choice. Verily, I am the only one in despair. From the very first day, the seasons changed and the weather altered, and I dreaded the moment when the head would be raised. I tried to stop myself, but the command came to be. I woke up that morning and I tried to tell myself I was a Husseini. But I sat there confused as the day took its course. How could it be my master was below the hooves of a horse? The morning set in and I commanded the sun to return, but Qasim smiled and said, sweeter than honey in the way of my am. So I looked for the moon and I said, let's return back to the night. But Abbas stood firm and said, we will defend Hussein in his plight. The second and the minutes I wondered who I was, what is time, where is time, everything was with the divine. I have lost all control, it's as if I'm in a maze. I rewind a few years and Ali has his hand raised. I fast forward to this moment when I had nothing to offer. What is time, where is time, everything was with the divine. Not a second, not a clock, not an hour, nothing was mine. I apologize, my friends, for I have little to offer except I control the winds and the air and these raindrops to prosper. For a tear in your seeking allows to manifest the light of the beacon. Let me whisper something to all of creation. I love you, Hussein, and I'm sorry I'm time, but have submitted to the divine. Before I existed, he's the reason I am. For Hussein I am being, and to him I have failed. The clench of the moment and the second was mine, but today I submit to the command of the divine. Karbala was so far on the very first day when I rejoiced with the angels. Our leader showed me my way, his light was manifest before us, and I saw myself turn. Second by second the clock began to burn. So here we are on the day like none other. I heard fables and tales from the angels, I swear. They told me to be careful, be as vigilant as ever, you control the date. They said, but today I respond, I submitted to fate. So I ask you today to forgive me, O Shia. I left your master alone on the plains of the desert. His body battered and bruised as Zainab was witness. What do I say to his daughter so dear? I apologize, O Zainab, for the blood and the cries and the body so raw, but I know your words for only beauty you saw. I have nothing to offer but a few couplets in love, for Hussein is my master and I am the dove. So let these lines of poetry be a witness that I'm sorry, my love, but I was suffocated. I wash the sins of time with these few words, so let it be known to all of the worlds that I love Hussein and he is my king, that I love Hussein and he is my eye, that I love Hussein and he is my light, that I love Hussein and he is my heart. But I failed you, Hussein, in all of my might, for I am simply just time, a creation from your light. I will lament until the last day when the trumpet is blown and all creation seeks your way. This rain will pour down and the seasons will alter, my thunder cracking as a reminder that there's no day like your day, O my master Hussein. that there's no day like your day, O my Master Hussein. What is time? Where is time? Everything was with the divine, not a second, not a clock, not an hour, nothing was mine. There's no day like your day, O my Master Hussein. There is no day like your day, O my Master Hussein. رحم الله من قرأ سورة المباركة الفاتحة.